Om Namo Sudevaय. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitanēn Tasmai Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, accept my obeisances, all glories to Prabhupada. Thank you for inviting me to your kind association.
Thank you, Prabhu, for giving us the association. Most valuable association for us.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your time.
Dear devotees, any questions from anybody? Matajis?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question. In the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it mentioned that Dhruva Maharaj's father, Maharaj Uttanpada, he is expansion of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. So my question is, Prabhuji, why, like, if he is expansion of the Krishna, then why he did like this unfair to Dhruva Maharaj?
Where, in which verse is that? Can you tell me?
It's Prabhuji in the fourth I have to look it up, the particular verse, but it's in the fourth canto, 36th chapter. I'm looking.
Fourth canto. You don't remember, right?
Yes, it is verse 7. Verse 7.
For what?
Verse 7, fourth
chapter,
fourth
7th
canto,
verse.
chapter 8, verse 7.
8.7. Oh, they were descendants of the expansion, plenary expansion of Vasudeva.
they were descendants of a plenary expansion, you know. They are not, you know. Usually, when a person, like here in Uttanapat and Priyavarta, they were the sons of Swayambhuva Manu, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Swayambhuva Manu, usually the Manus are all empowered personalities, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, being an empowered personality and their children were definitely not ordinary children, you see. So, here, why Uttanapat behaved like that? Because unless he behaved like that, then the story of Durva Maharaj will not unfold, no?
Mm.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
He did not behave like that, then Durva will not, no need for him to go to the forest and meditate on the Lord and become a great devotee. Correct?
Mm. Yes,
Mm.
Prabhuji.
All pastimes of the Lord, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Hiranyakasipu also, because he behaved like that, you know, then the Lord had to come down as Narsimha Dev. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So these are all the pastimes of the Lord, and unless there's a Ravana, how can there be a Ram, you know?
Mm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes, Prabhuji.
This is how we should understand everything, you know. There's a reason behind this, all an arrangement of the Lord, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this is the pastimes of the Lord. So that's for Dhruva Maharaj was, you know, empowered.
Mm.
Otherwise, Dhruva will not go to the forest, correct?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Prabhuji.
He will not, he will stay at home, and then this pastime would not have happened, no?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just like Vyasadeva is an incarnation of the Lord, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So he was getting bewildered after writing all the books, no? Then he approached his guru, and then Narada Muni told him to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, correct?
Yes. Yes,
So why
Prabhuji.
he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why he became bewildered?
Mm. So we get this benefit.
Hmm.
Mm.
We have to see it like that, no? The
Mm-hmm.
Lord sometimes, you know, acts in such a way so that the
Mm-hmm.
pastimes of the Lord will be enacted, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Prabhuji.
So this is how, you know, you have to understand, not because, you know, how the Guru Maharaj, you know, his father was supposed to be an expansion, descendant of an expansion, why he behaved like that. But you can see also in the case of Bharat Maharaj, who is a descendant of who is the son of God, no?
Mm.
And he fell down, correct? As a deer.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So
Yes,
why is son of God it this happened, no?
Mm-hmm.
As a teacher, as a lesson, no, you have to be careful. Even you're son of God also, you can fall down if you're not careful, no?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So the Lord uses all these examples to teach us, how to behave.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You understand?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. I was confused, but now I got it. Yeah.
So we have to see like that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Prabhu, in a temple, are we supposed to circumambulate the deities? Because some places, some temples, there is provision, some temples, there is no provision. So, what is the prescribed way?
It says in the nectar of devotion that you must circumambulate the temple, no?
Okay. So, is it like the entire temple or just the altar, Prabhu?
The altar, no? Usually they go around the altar, no?
Altar. Okay.
Some temples, like they have this, like in Vrindavan, the Krishna Balaram temple, they have a provision, no? To go around. But most places, the temple, difficult to do it, no? Especially outside India, to do that kind of temple, very difficult.
Is there any prescribed number of times you have to circumambulate, Prabhu?
Minimum 3 times.
Okay.
3 times you go around,
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
It is there in the book Nectar of Devotion that we must circumambulate the deities,
Yes, Prabhu.
If you read in the Bhagavatam also, the moment the devotees, they leave after seeing the Lord, they circumambulate, no? It's a sign of respect, is it?
Okay. And when Bhoga is being offered, we should not do circumambulation.
We circumambulate, because we cannot circumambulate others in front of the Lord. That's not good, no? That's why in Tulsi Puja we close the screen, no?
No, I mean when Bhoga is being offered to the Lord, can we still circumambulate the altar?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, because in some temple like ISKCON Bangalore, they say, please don't circumambulate, offering is going on.
I never heard anything like that.
Okay.
I guess Bangalore has many
Special conditions.
extraordinary things. There's no stipulation and when and where. Whenever you want to, you can always circumambulate the Lord, no? Right?
Yes,
What
Prabhu.
is the reason behind when the Lord is taking offering, he cannot be circumambulated? Why is the reason behind that?
Yes, Prabhu.
You circumambulate, are you disturbing the Lord in any way? I don't see anything like that, correct?
Correct, Prabhu.
Whenever you leave, you circumambulate and then you go. Like that, if the Lord is sleeping, you also will say you cannot circumambulate. Huh? Does it make any sense? Huh?
True, Prabhu.
If you got some Shastric injunction somewhere in the Shastra that says like that, then yeah, we can accept. But you simply out of the blue you say, then how we can accept that?
Yes, yes.
I don't know.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we should be not blindly following,
Hmm. Prabhu, morning when we enter the temple hall for Mangalarti, we first do our obeisances to Prabhupada, and then do we do obeisances in front of the altar before opening or only after opening?
No harm in paying obeisances, and then when it's open, you can also again pay obeisances.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
The Lord, He's there, no? So we pay obeisances.
Okay.
Of course, when the curtain opens, we pay also obeisances.
Yeah, that is mandatory. But I was wondering if when it is still closed, is it okay to pay obeisances?
Yes, if you come in, you pay obeisances, the Lord,
Hmm.
The more you pay obeisances, the more you get purified, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, you offer obeisances, no?
Hmm.
Mam namaskuru. That
Hmm.
I think it's only our temple you are taught to pay obeisances, no?
Hmm.
Nobody is among the Hindus pay obeisances. I don't see that, no?
Yes, Prabhu, they don't do that.
They don't do these obeisances. They think it's a bit funny,
They just fold their hands.
Yeah. Only in our temples we are taught to bow down, no?
Hmm.
Dandavat.
Hmm.
Huh? The word dandavat itself means paying obeisances, no?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
So you see how this big difference. Most of the Hindus are not taught to pay obeisances, no?
Hmm.
Hinduism is very superficial, Everything is based on Hindu religion is basically demigod worship most, no?
Hmm.
That's why you cannot make any advancement in that status,
Okay.
You just become very dry, just to ask the Lord for material benefits. And most religions are all based on that, How
Yes.
to get material benefit. God is to fulfill the desires,
Hmm.
Only in the Vaishnava religion we learn how to become servant of God,
Hmm.
Which is the highest actually. There are differences. For example, if you are Brahmin, which is the highest, the body of a Brahmin is very topmost actually. Is it not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Why the Brahmin is topmost, it's explained here. So it is here. In this verse, of the two energies manifest spirit and dull matter beings, possessing living force, vegetable, grass, trees, and plants are superior to dull matter, stone, earth, etc. Superior to non-moving plants and vegetables are worms and snakes which can move. Superior to worms and snakes are animals that have developed intelligence. Superior to animals are human beings, and superior to human beings are ghosts because they have no material bodies. Superior to ghosts are the Gandharvas, and the superior to them are the Siddhas. Superior to the Siddhas are the Kinnaras. Superior to them are the Asuras. Superior to Asuras are the demigods, and of the demigods, Indra, the king of heaven, is supreme. Among Brahma's son is Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is the son of Lord Brahma, Brahma is considered superior. But Brahma is also subordinate to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because I am inclined to the Brahmanas are best of all. So you see how the Brahminical position is very superior. Hmm? That's why the Lord is saying, no, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go, no? You know the verse we chant all the time? Yes?
Offering bhoga to the Lord.
For respectful Brahmanas, as far as I am concerned, no one is equal or superior to the Brahmanas in this world. I do not find anyone comparable to them. When people know my motive after performing rituals according to the Vedic principle, they offer food to me with love, with faith and love through the mouth of a Brahmana. When food is thus offered unto me, I eat with full satisfaction. Indeed, I derive more pleasure from food offered in that way than from food offered in the sacrificial fire. See,
Okay.
the
So this
Brahmana
means
would,
we have to, like, this means we have to feed a brahmana than feeding it in the sacrificial fire, Prabhu.
yeah, that's why you call the Brahmanas in the Shraddha ceremony. So many Brahmins are to be required, you know. So this is the idea because the Lord is very pleased by eating through the mouth of the Brahmin. No?
Mm.
When the Brahmanas eat the food, it is considered directly eaten by the Supreme Lord. So you see, this Brahminical position is very unique, you know,
Mm.
exalted actually. The Vedas are my eternal transcendental sound incarnation. Therefore, the Vedas are Sapta Brahman. In this world, the Brahmanas thoroughly study all the Vedas, and because they assimilate the Vedic conclusion, they are also to be considered the Vedas personified. The Brahmanas are situated in the supreme transcendental mode of nature, Sattva Gun. Because of this, they are fixed in mind control, Sama, sense control, Dhamma, truthfulness, Satya. They describe the Vedas in their original sense, and out of mercy, Anugraha, they preach the purpose of the Vedas to all conditioned souls. They practice penance, tapasya, tolerance, titikshva, and they realize the position of the living entity and the Supreme Lord Anubhava. These are the 8 qualifications of the Brahmanas. Therefore, among all living entities, no one is superior to the Brahmanas. So the qualification of the Brahmanas is explained here. 8 qualifications. Sama, Dama, Satyam, Anugraha, Cha, Tapas, Titiksha, Anubhavascha, Yatra. So here it's 8 qualities. So because they have these 8 qualities, they are considered as superior. Hmm? If you study the Bhagavad Gita, so again here the qualification of the Brahman is also explained. Sama, Dama, Tapa, Sauchyam, Chanti, Arajavam, Evacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma, Karma, Subhavajam.
Prabhu, is it, are they referring to regular Brahmanas here or the second initiated Vaishnava Brahmanas?
Now this is referring to a Brahmin who is twice born, no?
Okay, so not the regular Brahmanas who by birth are considered like that.
No,
As per Shastra, there is no Brahmanas like that.
Yeah, correct.
Brahmana
But
means,
I just wanted to understand how they are referring here. I mean, lot,
Brahmana means by qualification, no?
hmm.
Hmm?
Because most of the ceremonies, after the ceremony, we offer to Brahmanas. No? General practice is to call by birth kind of Brahmana. That
It is
was
in
the
Hindu
tradition.
practice, not in the Vaishnava culture.
Okay.
So those kind of Brahmanas are, from birthright.
Hmm.
So here the qualification of a Brahmana means he has got qualities of a Brahmin, no? That means
Hmm.
actually a qualified Brahmin. And here it's about 9 qualities are mentioned.
Hmm.
Sama, Dhamma, Tapa, Sauchyam, Shantir, Arjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. Nastikyam means the one who believes no God. So these are the 9 qualifications, is it? Whereas
So a
the
lot of ISKCON devotees, they misunderstand this Shanti, that peace, I mean tolerance, for
hmm,
tolerating nonsense in the world. Like our tolerance should be only for devotees and stuff, right? That Prabhu.
tolerance means that you tolerate whatever, all the difficulties in pursuing your spiritual life, no?
In pursuing spiritual life, not the material life.
No, I mean, we tolerate all these material things. Of course, you still have to tolerate whatever it is. You have to tolerate. No, that is the quality of a Brahmin. No, he
But there
patient
is
and
like,
tolerate in hoping for the Lord to make the moves for him. No,
hmm,
so whereas you see the Kshatriyas and all that, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 qualities only. I think that the most. Right? Heroism, power, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 qualities are there for the Kshatriyas.
hmm,
And then if you go to the Vaishyas, they only have uh, 1, 2, 3 qualities. These are the three qualities only for the Kshatriyas. And for the Sudras, there's only one quality, labor, you know. So here again in this verse, see in this verse, sorry, not this one. In this verse, so here in this verse, speaking of a Brahmin, so there are 12 qualities of the Brahmin. First class Brahmana is stated in the book Sanat Sujata as he has got these 12 qualities, you know. Jnanam cha satyam dhamma susrutam amatsaryam rishi titikshana anusaya agyagya cha danam cha driti samasya mahavrata dvadasha brahmanasya. So here 12 qualities are mentioned, you know. So the Brahminical order has got 12 qualities, yeah. I want to take out this verse here for you again, because the translation of this is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So let me take this verse out. So you can understand what I'm trying to drive at. So here, so this is the same verse, but in the CC. So this same thing is here, the translation. A Brahmana must be perfectly religious, he must be truthful, and he must be able to control his senses. He must execute severe austerities and must be detached, humble and tolerant. He must not envy anyone, and he must be expert in performing sacrifice and giving whatever he has in charity. He must be fixed in devotional service and expert in the knowledge of the Vedas. These are the 12 qualifications for a Brahmana. So you see, the Brahmin must be qualified, you know. Now, what is the difference between a Brahmana and a Vaishnava?
Vaishnava is a Brahmana plus devotee of the Lord, Prabhu.
So here, the Vaishnavas, of course, let us go to this verse first. Before I go there, from the Garuda Puranam, Bhakti Siddhanta is quoting this. A Brahmana qualified to offer sacrifice is better than an ordinary Brahmana, and better than such a Brahmana is one who has studied all the Vedic scriptures. Among many such Brahmanas, one who is a devotee of Lord Vishnu is the best. And among many such Vaishnavas, one who is fully engaged in the service of the Lord is the best. See this? So a devotee is higher than a Brahmana. There are many different kind of devotees, but even a Vaishnava coming from a family of Malachas or Yamana is understood to be a learned scholar, complete in knowledge. He knows the Vaishnava philosophy. He should therefore be given charity, for such a Vaishnava is as worshipable as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you see the unique position of a devotee. Lord Krishna says, even if a non-devotee comes from a Brahmana family and is expert in the study of the Vedas, it's not very dear to me. Whereas even if a sincere devotee comes from a very low family of meat eaters, he's very dear to me. Such a sincere, pure devotee should be given charity, for he is as worshipable as I am.
Haribol.
So, you see, this is the position of a devotee, you know. A devotee's position is very much higher. Just now you read this verse. So here you see, this is in this verse, there are it's 26, 26 qualities of a Vaishnava is listed, you know. So you see the different, the Brahmana, the maximum he has got is 12 qualities. Yes? But a devotee, he has got 26, you know.
Yes, Prabhu.
So you see the position of a devotee compared to a Brahmana. So he is very kind to everyone. He does not make anyone his enemy. He is truthful. He is equal to everyone. No one can find any fault in him. He is magnanimous. His smile is always clean. He is without possession. He works for everyone's benefit. He is very peaceful. He is always this quality. Yeah? This is a very important point here. He is always surrendered to Krishna. He has no material desires. He is very meek. He is steady. Control his senses. He does not eat more than required. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. He offers respect to everyone. He does not desire any respect for himself. He is very grave. He is merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. He is silent. So these are the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. Now to further elaborate this point, you see here, so here in this verse, I show you another place. So here in this 11th canto here, you can see, so the Lord is explaining the qualities of a Vaishnava. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Uddhava, a saintly person is merciful and never injures others. Even if others are aggressive, is tolerant and forgiving toward all living entities. His strength and meaning in life comes from the truth itself. He is free from all envy and jealousy, and his mind is equal in material happiness and distress. Thus he dedicates his time to working for the welfare of all others. His intelligence is never bewildered by material desires, and he has controlled his senses. His behavior is always pleasing, never harsh, and always exemplary, and is free from possessiveness. He never endeavors in ordinary worldly activities and he strictly controls his eating. He therefore always remains peaceful and steady. A saintly person is thoughtful and always and accepts me as his only shelter. Such a person is very cautious in the execution of duties and never subject to superficial transformation. Because he is steady and noble even in distressing situation, he has conquered over the six material qualities, namely lust, hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, knowledge, and death. He is free from all desire for prestige and offers honor to others. He is expert in reviving the Krishna consciousness of others and therefore never cheats anyone. Rather, he is a well wishing friend to all, being most merciful. Such a saintly person must be considered the most learned of men. He perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duty prescribed by me in various Vedic literatures possess favorable qualities that purify the performer, and he knows that neglect of such duty constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken complete shelter of my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worship me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among all living entities. So here Krishna is explaining there are 28 qualities, of a Vaishnava. So describes 28 qualities of a saintly person, plus verse 32 explains the highest perfection of life. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarji Thakur, the 17th quality, Mat Sharana, or taking shelter, complete shelter of the Lord, is the most important, and the other 27 qualities automatically appear in one who has become a pure devotee of the Lord. As stated in the Bhagavatam, we have read this now. Yashyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana. So here you can see the 28 qualities are very nicely described. Kripalu. A devotee cannot tolerate seeing the world merge in ignorance and suffering the weak lashes of Maya. Therefore, he busily engaged in distributing Krishna consciousness and is called Kripalu or merciful. So you see how one of the most important quality, kripa, to show mercy to others. Hmm? And this way, all these qualities are listed out. Akrita droha. Even if someone is offensive toward a devotee does not become offensive in return. Indeed, he never acts against the interests of any living entity. One may argue that great Vaishnava kings such as Maharaj Yudhishthira and Parikshit Maharaj executed many criminals. However, when justice is properly administered by the state, sinful, destructive person actually benefit from their punishment because they become free from their severe karmic reaction to their illicit activities. A Vaishnava ruler gives punishment not out of envy or malice, but in faithful obedience to the laws of God. The Mayavad philosophers who want to kill God by imagining that He does not exist are certainly Krita Droha, or most injurious to themselves and others. The impersonalist imagine that he himself is supreme and thus creates a most dangerous situation for himself and his followers. Similarly, the karmis who are dedicated to material sense gratification are also killers of the self because by their absorption in material consciousness they lose all chance of experiencing the absolute truth and the truth of their own selves. Therefore, all living entities who come under the control of materialistic regulations and duties are unnecessarily harassing themselves and others. And a pure Vaishnava feels great compassion and concern for them. A devotee never uses his body, mind, body, or words to perform any act harmful to the welfare of any living entity. So again, here all the qualities are listed down. I would recommend you to read them. So the most important one here, it is explained by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. This quality of mud sharana, So this is what they distinguish between a Vaishnava and a Brahmana. A Brahmana not necessarily is a devotee of Krishna, but a Vaishnava cannot be but a devotee of Krishna. So this is the big difference, you see. Um, unless you become a devotee of Krishna, your position is not secure, As I was explaining many times, that if you don't become a devotee of Krishna, then in the Bhagavad Gita it says, if you don't accept the authority of Krishna, I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. You understand? So if you don't accept Krishna's authority, then there's a fall down,
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, it's explained here. Any members of the four Varna and four ashram who fail to worship the personality of Godhead, the source of their own creation, who intentionally disrespect Him, will fall down from their position into a hellish state of life. So you see, this is the difference between the Brahminical order and the Vaishnava position. Because the Vaishnava will not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas a Brahmana, it is not complete, being a Brahmana. Because the Brahmanas that we have been reading about is actually a Brahmana who is devoted to the Lord, no? You understand? That's why it's explained also in the Bhagavad Gita, which we many times explain, that this is anyone who knows that the Lord is all in all. After many birth and death, he was actually in knowledge, surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So you see the unique position of a Vaishnav, you see. Vasudeva is Sarvamiti, you see. So if you don't know that Krishna is all in all, and if you don't exclusively surrender to Him, Mat Sharanam, Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mam Eka Sharanam Raja, then your position is not very good. That's why we always stress, in our classes, those who have trouble with me or heard my, that unless you become a devotee of Krishna exclusively, if you have some tint of worshipping some demigods and all that, that doesn't qualify you for going back home, back to Godhead. You understand? That's why this word, Mamekam Sharanam Braja, is used, you see here. Here in this verse, famous verse that, see here, Mamekam, you see, correct? When you see Mamekam means what? Only me, no? There cannot be any other person. Again, Krishna speaks about it also. Again, here in the Bhagavatam, Mamekam Eva Sharanam. Again, see that? So you cannot try to, worship God, in your own way, and that's what is the problem with the Hindu, system. Hmm? This is from the Brahma Samhita. I was going where? No, it's not. In the Brahma Samhita, I'm trying to show you something. One verse before this. So in the Brahma Samhita, you see this verse. You see here, Dharmam Anyan Parityaja Mam Ekam. Again, you see this? Bhaja Vivasvan. So this is the same as the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja Mam Ekam. See? So if you want to make any spiritual advancement, if you don't accept the exclusive worship of the Lord, then it doesn't qualify you for going back to Godhead, you cannot go back, you see. In fact, you have to return to the cycle of birth and death, So in this verse, when the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being, and his mind is subjugated by fruitive activity. Therefore, this is his point here, until one has love for Lord Vasudev, who is none other than myself, is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. So, in other words, if you don't accept the exclusive position of the Lord, and if you don't develop love for Him only, then there's no question of going back to Godhead. So that's why even you have the 12 very good qualities of a Brahmana, but if you don't become a devotee, then it is a waste of time, It's a simply waste of time. That's why the position of a devotee is very unique, extremely rare, as Krishna says. And you can see among so many people, how many of them are devotees? Even I was traveling in India, I've seen many so-called devotees who chant 16 rounds and follow the principle and one, but they're still attached to some kind of demigod worship. Yes.
Yeah, they say habits die hard. Difficult for them.
So if you have that kind of attachment, then you cannot go back home, back to Godhead, You understand this point? Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you see, when we say Vaishnav, Vaishnav means nothing but Krishna, no? Yes?
Hmm.
So this is the position different between a devotee and the others. The others, that's why Krishna is very much attached to the devotee, no? There's nobody in my heart except the devotee, and there's nobody in the heart except me in the heart of the devotee. Yeah? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. So you have to understand this position of Krishna and the position of a devotee. A devotee doesn't mean that he has any separate interest beside the interest of the Lord, no? Hmm?
Hmm.
So this is the unique position. That's why that famous verse, no, Muktanam api siddhanam, uh,
Hmm.
Vasudeva, that verse, I think it's in the 614, Bhagavatam 614. This is a famous verse that 614.5. So Muktanam api siddhanam Narayana Parayana. Again, Vasudeva Parayana, Narayana Parayana. You see? Sudurlabha Prashantatma Koti Swapi Mahamuni. So this a very important verse. So great sage among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation. One may be a devotee of Lord Narayan or Krishna. Such devotee who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. So you see, the position of a devotee is not a cheap thing. When Krishna only identifying with such a devotee who is not, in any way, implicated in worshipping any other personality other than Krishna. So this is the difference between a Brahmana, so-called, and a devotee. Whereas a devotee is different position. Another important point that here we are trying to say that in this verse, hmm, um, so here, here in this verse you can see Vasudeva Parayanaha. See that? Huh? So Narayana Parayanaha, Vasudeva Parayanaha. So Sukadev Goswami is speaking, only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful action with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. So, just now we read Narayana Parayana, Vasudeva Parayana. But here, after speaking like this, he then says this, but you see here, he uses the word here, Krishna Padaravinda Yoho. So here he is explaining, although not having fully realized Krishna, persons who have even once surrendered completely onto his lotus feet and who have become attracted to his name, form, and qualities and pastimes are completely free of all sinful reaction. For they have thus accepted the true method of atonement. Even in dreams, such a surrendered soul do not see Yamaraj or his order carriers who are equipped with ropes to bind the sinful. So you can see in the purport here, Prabhupada explaining, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. This same principle described here, Sakran Manaha Krishna Padara Vendayoho. If by studying Bhagavad Gita one decides to surrender to Krishna, he is immediately free from all sinful reaction. It is also significant that Sukadev Goswami, having several times repeated the word Vasudeva Parayanaha and Narayana Parayanaha, finally says Krishna Padaravindayoho. Thus he indicates that Krishna is the origin of both Narayana and Vasudeva. Even though Narayana and Vasudeva were non-different from Krishna, simply by surrendering to Krishna, one fully surrenders to all his expansions as Narayana, Vasudeva and Govinda. As far as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mataha Parantaram Nanya, there's no truth superior to me. There are many forms, names and forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna is the supreme form, Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam. Therefore, Krishna recommends to neophyte devotees that one should surrender unto him only, Mamekam. I think we discussed that. Because neophyte devotees cannot understand what the forms of Narayana, Vasudeva, and Govinda are. Krishna directly says Mam Ekam. Herein this is also supported by the word Krishna Padaravinda Yoho. Narayana does not speak personally, but Krishna or Vasudeva does. As in the Bhagavad Gita, for example, therefore, to follow the direction of Bhagavad Gita means to surrender unto Krishna, and to surrender in this way is the highest perfection of Bhakti Yoga. So you understand this point. That's why when you say Vaishnav, the word of only Krishna, very, very rare. Yes?
Yes.
Is it clear, this topic? Understood this topic?
Yes,
How
Prabhu.
it is very different.
Actually, in ISKCON, as you said, like they encourage demigod worship. Like a lot of people, they do demigod worship. I've seen that.
Yeah. So when you do these kind of activities, you cannot go back to Godhead. I have explained this point many times in my class now. You can see here these verses. In three ways you cannot go back to Godhead. First is that if you are attached, they say, Nunam Pramate Kurute Vikarma. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he suddenly becomes mad after materialistic living and engage in all kinds of sinful activity, vikarma. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but is been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification by which he perpetually gets material body one after the other. So, if you are engaging, when you are in the bodily concept of life and engaging in the sense gratification, then you will not go back home, back to garden. That's very clear. You cannot go back. You have to take birth and birth again. See? You have to take one body after another. And here it also says, Parabhavastava Abodhajata, in this verse, Karmatmakam Yena Sarira. You see? So, in other words, if you also perform this karma, referring to the karma kanda section of the Vedas, either it's punya karma or sinful karma, whatever, you will always again keep taking birth. Sharira bandha, you will be bonded one body after another. Hmm? As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subject to miseries arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has a resultant action. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, ah, see,
Material body.
he has to accept a material body. So again, you have to accept material body. And again, the third way in which you will have to accept another material body. This is what we read this now. When the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being, his mind is subjugated by fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Vasudev, who is none other than myself, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. So one is sense gratification, identifying with gross body. Secondly, engage in karma. Thirdly, if you don't accept the supremacy of Krishna and only surrender to him, you will have to keep taking birth again and again and again.
So, Prabhu, in these ISKCON temples, when they set up altars for demigods, is it they're doing? I mean, they obviously read all this, right? They understand, or is it they only do it for the public and they don't pray to the demigods?
If you commit offense to the spiritual master, then this knowledge, although you read, you cannot
Real.
realize them.
Okay.
You understand? Just like you all also, I mean, why speak about them? Until you came to ISKM, many things were not clear for you, although you read them right there again and again. Is it not?
Yes, Prabhu, very true.
Huh?
Yes, definitely. I feel that. Yes.
So many things that, okay, for example, today's class, many people think Vaishnava, Brahmin, they're non-different and all that. But you see how I'm explaining that, how a Vaishnava is very far superior. Yes? Is it not?
Yes, Prabhu.
So this explanation means there's some knowledge has to be there, no? Correct?
Hmm.
Hmm? Is it not?
Yes, Prabhu.
If you don't have the knowledge, then how you will understand all these things? Hmm? Huh? And why the knowledge is not given to these people? Tell me why.
You showed one verse, Prabhu, earlier that as even a sannyasi, if he offends, it is just like a rope in his neck, but he will not even remember
Yeah, Krishna will hide. I mean, Krishna will not give him the intelligence, no?
to remember that.
Once you offend Prabhupada, then you become useless, no? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes or not? Instead of becoming more detached, these guys are doing more all kind of crazy things. A pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than to serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods. You see here? Hello? Hmm?
When they say worship mundane personalities, like worship means like
Sai Baba.
okay, sorry. Okay.
Ali Baba, Sai Baba, this Baba, that Baba.
That was, yeah,
Hmm?
yes, Prabhu.
You understand? So you see how you need, that's why you see you need help, if you don't have help,
Mm.
how you can understand this? Hmm? Hmm? So you see how a person deviates. So if you associate and you develop this exclusiveness to only worship Krishna, that means you are advancing.
Mm.
If you associate and you develop attraction for even worshipping demigods and engaging in karmic activities and all this, that means your devotional service is contaminated. Bhakti, Vishra Karma and Bhakti Vishra Gyan. Hmm? But Bhakti means Anya Bilasita Sunyam. You cannot have any karma and Gyan, Anavritam. Hmm?
Mm.
Yes. So you cannot go back home, back to Godhead with contaminated devotional service. Then it becomes like the Sahajiyas. Everything is okay. All is all right. Krishna is very kind. Just like the Muslims and the Christians also think that no, God, he accepts. He's very kind. You just surrender to him and you'll go back home, back to Godhead. Huh? This is explained as contaminated consciousness, Vishuddha Buddhi. Contaminated consciousness means to take things cheap.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm.
So we should understand this, properly. Otherwise, we will also fall into the same thing.
Yes, Prabhu.
Today is Saraswati Puja, please. Tomorrow is Lakshmi Puja. Navaratri is here, Prabhu. I cannot come to the temple. I'm busy because I've got Navaratri festival.
Mm.
Hello? Yes?
Because here it's mentioned in the last statement, the devotee should not criticize other scriptures. Oh, what does that mean, bro?
You should not study or criticize. So you be careful why you want to quote the Astastra and all that. Better to stay away. One time Ansuduta was preaching and he's always quoting the Bible. Understandably, he was coming from the background. Prabhupada corrected him. Why are you speaking on their books? Why don't you speak on our books? You understand?
Yes, bro.
So we should just quote our books. I mean, their books are there, but we all know their standard, no?
Mm.
Yes. You cannot go back home, back to Godhead by their scriptures. That's very clear. Because Krishna says here, this famous verse, Karma karma chami divyam evam yo veti tattvaha tattvataha tyaktva punarjanma naiti mameti surjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. You see? So if you know the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity, huh? So in the other denomination, they don't know. They don't
Mm.
know all these things. Huh?
Yes.
So how they going to go back? Hmm? You understand? Oh, our God is very merciful, you don't need to know, you just surrender only, He will take you back. Huh?
Mm. We tell that.
But there says a saying in their Bible, not all those who call Lord, Lord, Lord will be saved. There's many more things I want to tell you, I cannot do so now. Hmm?
Mm.
So it is not a cheap program, no, that simply understand and then you go back to God. This applies to also the Hindus.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I know Krishna, yeah. Not. You have to know him exclusively and you have to develop love for him, no?
Mm.
You understand? All these things are there. So you have to understand. And you cannot go unless you become a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Mm.
Kali Yuga without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, forget it. You're not going to make it. And 99% of the people don't know who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu anyway.
Mm.
So it's our duty to preach because we have a lot of work to do. But our society, ISKCON, has failed in many ways. They themselves are clouded, So
Mm.
they are in the philosophy, we cannot beat them, we join them, no?
Mm.
Hmm? So then they have made the whole temple Hinduized, no? That's why we have to be very careful not to bring all this kind of contamination into our worship, no?
Mm. Yes. Prabhu.
Yeah?
Definitely.
See, this is a trend among many temples, especially in the West. Demigod worship has become very prominent in their temples. They even install Ganesh and Durga and Shiva and all that.
Mm.
Hmm? Yes.
Yes. I think on Ganesha Chaturthi they were doing some celebration in.
Yeah, Bangalore. Hmm? They're worshipping him as a great Vaishnava. I guess that's the argument. Hmm?
Mm.
You understand? So be careful though. Hmm? Any other questions? Anybody else got anything to say or add or inquire? That's why this says, many times I quote this verse also. Demigod worship does not help one to understand the supreme,
Oh.
powerful personality of Godhead. Hmm?
Mm.
Not that you worship demigod, you will understand Krishna, No. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna said this is wrong way, no? Avidhi purvakam, no?
Hmm.
How you can get right by doing a wrong thing? Doesn't make sense, no?
Hmm.
So this is the contamination of being a Hindu. That's the problem, you know.
Hmm.
So being Hindu, they think it's all right, you know. I mean, Arjuna also worship, the gopis also worship. What's the problem? Yeah.
Hmm.
Now first you become Arjuna and first you become gopi, no? Yes. Our duty is to follow Acharya Upasanam.
Hmm.
Without the sanction of the Acharya, you cannot try to do anything, you know, according to your speculation.
Hmm.
Do you understand? Huh? Yes.
Yes.
In fact, devotees, they reject this ghastly form of the, you know, huh?
Universal form.
Huh? Yes. The ghastly form of the demigod, they are rejected by the devotees, no?
Hmm. Yes.
Is it not?
Yes. If we happen to go during the like book distribution somewhere we come across, then we can just pay our obeisances, right? Prabhu?
We are trained to do that by Prabhupada, that when you go, you chant those verses in the Brahma Samhita, you know.
Okay.
Those who are serious about liberation and certainly non-envious, they respect all, yet they reject the horrible and ghastly form of the demigod and worship only the all-blissful form of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portion. Okay. So we have to be, you know, explaining this to uh, the whoever wants to be a devotee.
Prabhu, why is it mentioned as horrible and ghastly forms?
Yeah, because
Kali, Durga.
they are all very fearful to look at, no? Even Lord Shiva, he has garlands of snakes and skulls and all that. Would you like to go near a person who got snakes all around his body? Huh? Hello?
No, Prabhu.
Hmm. So therefore, say learn how to reject them, no?
Hmm.
So we should become exclusively devoted to Krishna. Mamekam. I explain in all the verses. Mamekam.
Hmm.
So Krishna wants that, you know. Krishna wants us to surrender unto him alone. That's his demand. Actually, if you really want to love somebody exclusively, then you show your devotion, no?
Hmm.
Yes. You got confused. Generally, all the Indians are confused, no? They don't know so many gods. Why this god, that god, so many gods, no?
Hmm.
Correct. That's their position. So, any other questions? Nobody has any other questions? Hmm?
Please about obeisance or goes to
Yeah?
Prabhu.
Hmm.
That's question like is this like a full-time devotee or part-time devotee, something that, because there is no term like that. So can you please elaborate on that?
Part time and full time.
Yeah, what that actually the means actually.
I think they say part time means those who are not full time devotee in the temples, and the part time are those who are working outside, coming to the temple. Hmm?
So the part-time didn't get chance to go back to Godhead if unless and if they are following four regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds and
Yeah, anyone who does all those things that is ordered by the spiritual master certainly qualifies to go home back to Godhead.
yeah. No,
Even
but
women, it says no.
yeah,
Those who are Sudras, women, the
yeah,
lower sinful person, they all can go back, provided they take shelter of a pure devotee.
yes, got it.
Hmm. Taking shelter of the pure devotee is the main thing, no? Taking shelter means to follow his instruction 100%, no? Yes?
Yeah,
You don't follow his instruction, then how you can go back?
yeah,
Hmm? You start
yeah.
doing Ganapati Puja and Saraswati Puja and Lakshmi Puja and all. You think you can go back?
No, that's not possible.
Hmm. So therefore, you need to follow exclusively the direction given by the spiritual master.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Unless and until if like why this question comes up, they say is that you have to become a full-time devotee, then only you'll get chance to go back home back to Godhead.
Full time means you give your heart and soul and mind everything to Krishna. Hmm? It's not that you become full time, stay in the temple, eat and sleep. You think you will go back? Hmm? Correct. You have to dedicate yourself to developing love for Krishna. That's the qualification.
Yes.
Hmm. I never read anywhere it says only full time devotees will go back to Godhead. It is there. You find a verse like that. Hmm? It says that anyone who is following 100% the
I have
instruction of
not.
spiritual
But
master.
when I was there in ISKCON, that time I have listened. So just for curiosity, I asked. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. The main thing is that you are making spiritual advancement, that you're following very strictly.
Yes. Yes, bro. Yes.
Because those who are engaged in other work, they find themselves sometimes, challenges in their spiritual practice.
Yes.
Because their association with the non-devotees and their time has been used up in other activities. Yes.
Yes. Yes, bro.
Hmm. Try to eventually renounce all this attachment will be the best, because that way you are free to freely practice your spiritual life.
Yes.
Because all these are quite a bit of a hindrance. But what to do? You have to raise funds for your family maintenance and etc. etc. So, meantime, strictly practice. See, correct?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. So that should be our intention finally, to become 100% dedicated to Krishna.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. But if you stay in the association of devotees, then the chances are very good to become again strong devotee.
Yeah.
Association is the key.
Yes.
Any other questions? So, okay, I guess I'm taking too much of your time. Getting late now.
No problem. Thank you
Nice.
so much for your kind association and your invaluable guidance, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Even we are waiting for you, Prabhu, now.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry I got delayed a bit. Definitely try to come to your place. I'm sure
Yes,
if Krishna
yes,
is
Prabhuji.
kind. So, okay, I guess I have to thank all of you for your kind association, giving me a chance to speak about Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.